Hi everybody, my name is Jim. I'm the owner of Sprague Woodturning and welcome to my channel. In last week's video, the cherry crotch bowl video, I showed that I had a huge block of walnut sitting in my workshop. So Troy wanted to help me out with this, but unfortunately it's not going to work out. So that means that I'm going to have to go ahead and process this because it's taken up some pretty valuable real estate in my workshop. And it's just a massive piece of walnut. So anyway, that's next. I realize it's not an inlay and I realize it's not resin work. I will get back on to the inlay work and I will do some resin work here very shortly. But anyway, that's this video. Hopefully you enjoy it and let's get to it. Okay, so before we do anything, let's walk around this and talk about it. Across the top part of this, it's 34 inches and across the base is 39 inches. And I realize that's probably too dark. Sorry about that. I typically don't like to get logs that are any bigger than say 24 inches in diameter. My lathe will only turn 20 inches over the bed, so I don't see the point in getting gigantic pieces like this. And you know, these are back breaking pieces. This is very, very heavy. So that's another reason. And of course, so if I've got a 20-inch blank or an 18-inch blank on my lathe, I can get to, you know, 3 or 4 cores, or probably 3 cores out of an 18-inch blank. So, you know, that's good for me. This is a bit of an oddball thing, and this will be the largest bowl that I've ever turned. And actually, what Troy wants is a large flower pot made out of this. So anyway, the pith is still in the center right here, so we're gonna have to cut that out. This is gonna be 26 inches roughly, somewhere around there, and I'm gonna turn it on the outboard into my lathe, and hopefully I don't destroy my lathe in the process. Now I've gone ahead and removed some bark on this side, and you know, this tree has been sitting around I think for about a year, or actually it might have been cut in the spring. And I'll show you, you know, when wood sits around, especially here in Ontario and Canada, how it doesn't take very long for critters to get into the bark. And then this is another reason that if you're going to turn natural edge bowls, it's probably best to kiln dry them. And by the way, that's a 2-gallon gas can that's sitting on the top just for scale. Okay, so it might be a little hard to see, but there's a fair bit of dirt in this bark. So before I put the chainsaw to this, I want to try and strip off as much as this bark that's got all this dirt in it, because that's not going to do my chain any good. So anyway, let's try and get some of this off. Okay, so I've never really shown this in any of the videos. As long as the bark is clean, I usually leave it on. Look at that. Critters are coming out of it already. So anyway, this is just a flat crowbar. And I'm just going to work this in here and try and peel off as much of this bark as I can. Now, surprisingly enough, I don't really see too many worms in here. The piece that I took off the other side was packed full of them. So anyway, if that sits around, of course those worms are going to start to go into the wood, and then you're going to, you know, devalue your wood. Here's a critter there. Anyway, it's important not to leave wood probably laying around any more than a year before you process it, or else you might end up losing this valuable piece of timber. Okay, so we've got a pretty big crack from, here's the pith right here, and it goes all the way out to here. So what I've done is I've measured over to here and marked it, and I've done the same thing on this side. This is still 13 inches thick, so there's still lots of material here. So let's do that. Woo! Don't that falling on your toe. Oh, holy. Oh, I wonder if I can even use my tool rest. Man.
It's gonna be close.
It's gonna be real close. May have to do some more trimming.
Do it up here though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh, it's not coming off now. All right, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a little scary. Problem is I don't have enough room down here to put my banjo in for my tool rest. So I'm gonna have to do some more trimming. Anyway, that is a beast. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck. If you're curious, the speed is 85 RPM. And every time I turn this off, I'm going to turn the speed down. Just a little worried about it unwinding. That would not be good. I'm actually surprised that this is as balanced as it is. It's actually balanced really nice. So this is an extension I can take out of my banjo here. I'm going to try and put this on the outside. Yeah, this is one of the problems. You're so far, it's right on the very end. You risk actually breaking this banjo off, which is not cool. Anyway, I'm going to bring this out, the tool rest out here, and we'll whittle this down till we get kind of a flower, a big wide base. Okay, so we're locked down and ready to go here. Really light cuts. Like I said, this banjo is extended way off of the lathe bed and I'm worried about breaking it. So light cuts it is. Usually my controller's over there, but it's on magnets so I can move it. So I've got it over here on this side just in case I need to shut it off and hurry. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is actually cut a 2x4 and I'm going to groove it out so it goes like this, and then that will give this support so that if there is any, if I do get a catch, that it doesn't break the banjo in half. There, anyway, it ain't pretty. I don't know if you noticed the shot before this, you could actually see this bouncing up and down. So hopefully with this added support, it'll stop doing that. Speed is 175. All right, I'm just trying to make this as flat as I can because when that faceplate goes on here, I want it to have nice contact here, and it's pretty flat. Speed is still 175. That's probably 250. So this is what happens when you turn green wood, if you're not a turner or only have turned dry wood. This is a result of the tool steel acting with the tannin in the wood, and it stains your hands black. So lemon juice actually will usually get rid of the majority of it. It's pretty cool how this has reacted with the steel and the tannin. It's almost black. That's where the faceplate was. Okay, so I'm going to put this faceplate on the bottom of the bowl now. When this was on the lathe, I cut this. It's a little bit bigger than the faceplate itself. So that way, hopefully things will be lined up and balanced when it goes back on the lathe. Make sure it's up. Whew. Man. All right, thanks, bud. Okay, so this actually, when I put it back on here, it's actually pretty good. A little bit of a wobble to it. So what I'm gonna do, it's the end of the day here. I'm just going to anchor seal this so that we don't get any splitting overnight. And then in the morning, I'll even this up and then I'll move to the inside. All right, so I'm just going around, and if I see any spots where there might be some small splits or there's actually a bark inclusion up here of some sort. Anyway, I'll fill them in with the thin CA glue. And again, there's a link in the description for 10% off your next order. And then I'm just hitting it with the accelerator just so I can keep going here. So anyway, have a good look at the surface and make sure these are just where it was sitting on metal. I already turned it black. But other than that, I don't see any other things. Okay, so before we go on and remove the inside, it's the next day. I just wanted to talk about anchor seal. This is an end grain sealer that you use on green wood when it's drying. When I first started turning 23 years ago, I met an older turner and he put me onto this stuff. And ever since I've used it, and you know, you're gonna lose some bowls when they dry due to cracking. But if you don't use this, this to me is the tried and true method. This is something that's used in the industry as well. Like I'm talking sawmills will completely coat end grain logs, right? The end grain on the logs. So you know what, it's a great product and I highly recommend it. I'm not affiliated with them. Because we live in Canada and it's cold, I've got the glycol formula. And if you are Canadian and you're looking to buy this, this is a US company, but they have a warehouse in Brampton and they'll ship from there, and that way you don't have to pay duty on it. And so the bowl itself, if you remember, it was white when I put it on yesterday. When it dries clear, and it's still got to harden up totally in these spots. And looking at this today, I don't even think I'm going to bother taking that off. I'm just going to move to the inside and start taking out the inside on this. Anyway, use it. I just wanted to point this out too. This is what happens when the tannin reacts with the tool steel, like I showed you yesterday on my hands. But it does a number on your tools too. So before I use, I'm going to sharpen this again, but before I do, I'll clean all this off so that the gouge moves smoothly on the tool rest. Okay, so we're still at 175. As you can see, this is going to take a while. I should have also mentioned that what I want to do with this is get rid of this mass up here. This is the weight of the bowl right now. So the sooner I can get rid of this mass, because normally you would go in like this and all the way to the base and then work your way out. Well, I really want to get rid of this mass up here. That way I can increase lathe speed and pick up the pace here. That's 255. It's also important to keep checking these screws to make sure that they're not coming loose. I should also point out, you see a lot of black in here. Now, this block of wood was actually rescued from a large tree, and there was a fence growing right through the center of it. So I'm hoping that this is below where the fence was, because of course, like I've said earlier, the tannin and the juices in the wood will react with the steel and causes staining. And so anyway, I haven't hit any metal yet, but I'm hoping that that was above the tree and it just kind of wicked down. So anyway, when you see that black stuff, just be aware. So as you can see, we've hit something here. I think it's just a bar conclusion. I'm just going to keep going, turning away, and hopefully it's nothing more than that. But this is that piece that I sealed on the outside yesterday with the Starbond thin. That's about 300. So that's how far we are to the bottom. I'm going to leave this about 2.5 inches thick. So, you know, we've got probably about another 2 inches to go. Remember, I've got those 2-inch screws coming through the bottom. Again, this is going to be a planter, so it's probably going to have drainage holes in it anyway, so that'll be fine. The other good thing is that bark inclusion is now gone. So it, see this or not. Anyway, it's got certainly some dark spots in it, but there was nothing else here, so that's good. So anyway, we are 2 hours into doing this right now, just the inside. Speed is now 335, and I'm not going to go any higher than that. Okay, so we're getting close on the sides. The only problem I've got now is this bowl is too deep for me to use these calipers. So the back piece is on the very bottom of the bowl. This is sticking off here by probably 3/4 of an inch. So I can get kind of close. So that's where we're at now. Best I can tell from the base. And I want this to be 2.5 inches. So, you know, we've still got a good, you know, just a little under 1.5 inches before the screws start coming through. So, and again, the other issue is that I can't go any deeper with this tool rest. So I've got probably there's probably 3 inches there. So, you know, when you overhang the tool rest this much with a bowl gouge, it's really hard on the body. It tends to want to do this number, so you're always fighting it. Anyway, I'll see what I can do. I might stick with it and just kind of tough it out here. That's it. I'm going to call her done. Whew. Okay, so I thought I'd show you this. I'm all done processing all the pieces that we had to cut out of the way in order to get our big bowl blank. Anyway, these are 8 inches by 2 feet long, 24 inches long. These, of course, are box blanks, so there's 3 of them. And if you remember, we had some black staining in the bowl. The very last cut that I took, I found the metal, look. And that's just the way it goes. Anyway, there's 9 peppermill blanks and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11-ish to 12-inch bowl blanks. I don't have time to process these now. There'd be easily a day's worth of work to rough out these bowl blanks. So I'm just going to anchor seal these things tonight and take some Advil and we'll see you tomorrow. Finish this off. All right, well, that's it for the video. I realize it's a change from the norm that we usually do. This does kind of mark a milestone in my career, that this is actually the largest thing that I've ever turned. 22 inches across and 11 inches deep. You know, and as you can see, it took 2 of us, thanks to my son Jared, for helping me get this on and off the lathe. I definitely would not have been able to do it myself. And for scale, that's how big this thing is. It is absolutely huge. And as far as how much it weighs, I don't know. So I typically stay away from wood turnings this large because first of all, they're very expensive. So that's a very exclusive market. If somebody gets a hold of me and says, yeah, I'm looking for a 20-inch bowl or a 24-inch bowl, well, that one's 22 inches. You see the size of it. So, even if you do, if you have a family that's big that you want to put that much salad in, you won't be able to pass it around. The darn thing's too heavy. So I always tell people that it's best to maybe get two 15-inch bowls if you're looking for bowls with volume. And then that way they're easier to pass around. So there's that. Again, don't forget about the 15,000 subscriber giveaway bowl. When I hit 15,000 subscribers, I'll draw a name and that'll be shipped off worldwide. Again, all the links are in the description below, including 10% off the Starbond and 10% off the sandpaper.ca. So next week, hopefully I'll come back with something spectacular. I mean, this here hopefully was entertaining for you. It just shows you how massive that thing and how long it takes. In total, I've got probably 9 hours into just this blank from the chainsaw work and the lathe work. I know there's probably going to be some comments that I can't believe that you didn't use a coring system on that to remove it. Well, the thing is, my lathe, you have to use a coring system on the inboard side of your lathe. It's only 20 inches. The customer wanted the largest possible bowl that I could give them. And you know what? If the customer brings you the wood and that's what they want, then you know what? It's up to you to make it happen. So that's why that's like that. But I get it. There's a lot of waste come out of there. 2, 3, 4 bowls easily probably could have been cored out of there if I had a system that was capable enough to do that. But anyway, that's it. I'll be back next week with something spectacular. Come on back for that. Until then, take care, stay safe, and we will see you next week. And don't forget that bell. See ya.